Zahrie was living the life many dreamed of. At just 27, she was a rising name in Chicago's beauty industry, owner of Z-Style Suites, personal stylist of celebrities, and a social media figure with tens of thousands of followers. Known as Z Money, she had built a brand, a business, and a name. But on June 22nd, 2024, everything came to a sudden end. What started as a weekend yacht gathering on Lake Michigan ended with Zahrie being pulled lifeless from the water. Eyewitnesses say she fell overboard. Some tried to help, but the lake was rough, and she vanished beneath the surface. Hours later, she was pronounced dead at the hospital. Officials labeled it a tragic drowning, but questions immediately followed. How did a strong, healthy adult fall into the lake without warning? Why was no footage from the boat released? Why did no one give a clear timeline of what happened in the moments before she went missing? Even more chilling, this incident mirrored a past tragedy. In 2017, Zahrie's best friend, Kenneka Jenkins, also died under suspicious circumstances after a party. Kenneka was found in a hotel freezer. That death, too, was ruled accidental. Now, 7 years later, another young woman tied to the same circle is dead. 2 friends. 2 mysterious deaths, 2 accidents during group events, and a growing list of questions. Was Zahrie's death truly an accident, or does the truth lie somewhere beneath the surface? This isn't just a tragic boating story. It's a pattern, a sequence, and possibly a cover-up waiting to be exposed. If you enjoy real crime stories that uncover the truth, don't forget to subscribe. Your support helps us share real cases, spread awareness, and give a voice to those who can't speak for themselves. Before we begin, let us know in the comments, where are you watching from, and what are your thoughts as the story unfolds? Welcome to True Crime Uncovered, where we examine the cases that shake communities and expose what happens behind closed doors. Real stories, real people, real impact. Subscribe now and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. On June 22nd, 2024, Chicago was experiencing one of its first heat waves of the season. Temperatures hovered around 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and the city's lakefront was crowded with weekenders enjoying the summer sun. Zahrie was among them. That day, Zahrie shared multiple updates to her Instagram stories, showcasing her outfit, the views from Lake Michigan, and short clips from a yacht party she had boarded with friends. Based on those who were tagged and seen in the stories, reports confirmed there were at least 10 to 15 people on the boat, including other beauty professionals, influencers, and close acquaintances. The vessel was a rented luxury yacht, consistent with those frequently chartered from marinas near Navy Pier. The boat was part of a wave of summer gatherings unofficially tied to Black Yacht Weekend, a viral social event known for large boat parties along Chicago's waterfront. While it was not part of the event's formal itinerary, Zahrie's boat appeared to follow the same route as many others that weekend. Weather conditions were a growing concern. The National Weather Service had issued warnings earlier in the day for unusually strong rip currents and large wave activity on Lake Michigan, conditions described by the U.S. Coast Guard as ocean-like. Witnesses later reported that the waters were noticeably choppy, with sudden swells hitting the sides of the boat. At some point between 5:15 p.m. and 5:30 p.m., Zahrie was seen near the edge of the boat's railing. According to preliminary witness statements collected by police and confirmed by the U.S. Coast Guard, she fell overboard. The exact cause, whether she slipped, lost balance, or was pushed, has not been conclusively determined. However, no official foul play has been cited. Eyewitnesses claimed that the moment she went into the water, there was initial confusion, followed by a rapid response attempt from several people on board. Some reportedly jumped into the water to try and reach her, while others called 911 and flagged nearby boats for help. Emergency calls were logged, and rescue operations were launched within minutes. A nearby rescue team and Coast Guard unit responded to the coordinates. Divers were deployed, and multiple search patterns were initiated. Zahrie was reportedly submerged for an extended period. Early unverified reports suggest 20 to 30 minutes, but authorities have not confirmed the exact duration. When she was finally recovered from the water, she was unresponsive and showing no signs of breathing. CPR was performed on-site, and paramedics continued life-saving measures as she was transported by boat and ambulance to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, one of Chicago's leading trauma centers. Despite resuscitation attempts, Zahrie Walls was officially pronounced dead later that evening. The Cook County Medical Examiner's office listed the cause of death as drowning, pending full toxicology results. No traumatic injuries or signs of foul play were reported in the preliminary examination. The public reaction was swift. Zahrie's death, happening so suddenly and under vague circumstances, reminded many of the confusion that surrounded Kenneka Jenkins' passing. Social media was flooded with posts pointing out the eerie similarities. Both were young black women. Both died during group events. Both were initially ruled as accidents, and both had stories that relied heavily on incomplete witness statements. In Zahrie's case, no clear video of the moment she fell has surfaced publicly. Several attendees have locked down their social media profiles, and no one has made an official public statement detailing the events. This lack of clarity has fueled speculation. Authorities have stated the investigation remains open pending full toxicology, but there are currently no charges or suspects. The Coast Guard and Chicago police have both stated that they have found no indication of foul play. 2 cases, 2 timelines, 1 common thread. Both Zahrie Walls and Kenneka Jenkins lost their lives during what should have been ordinary social events. Both cases generated massive public interest, were ruled accidental, and yet remain under scrutiny by the public. In both, the lack of definitive video evidence, the reliance on peer witness accounts, and the swift move to classify them as accidental deaths continue to raise questions. The public now awaits full autopsy results for Zahrie, hoping they bring answers, though for many, those answers are already clouded by suspicion. For others, this latest incident only reinforces concerns about how such tragedies are handled, investigated, and remembered. Multiple witnesses have confirmed that alcohol was being consumed aboard the yacht that afternoon. The gathering took place during what was unofficially referred to as Black Yacht Weekend in Chicago, a time when many groups organized boat parties on Lake Michigan. While authorities have not publicly confirmed the presence of drugs, alcohol was described by attendees as freely available. However, there has been no toxicology report released for Zahrie Walls to determine whether she had any substances in her system at the time of her death. The absence of this report continues to fuel speculation about what role, if any, substance use may have played. One of the most troubling aspects of the case is the lack of definitive visual evidence. No security cameras were reported to be present on the private yacht. Additionally, although multiple attendees were filming parts of the party for Instagram stories, TikTok, and Snapchat, no known video has surfaced showing the exact moment Zahrie fell into the water. Some speculate that such footage may exist but has either been deleted or withheld. As of now, investigators have not released any video evidence publicly, leading to questions about whether they were ever provided with full digital media from the guests present. This remains one of the biggest gaps in the known timeline. Several individuals have claimed they were nearby when Zahrie fell, but their accounts are inconsistent. Some say she was standing near the edge of the boat and simply lost her balance. Others report hearing a splash, but not seeing the actual fall. None of the witnesses so far have been able to provide a clear, confirmed account of the precise moment she went overboard. The lack of eyewitness detail has intensified public suspicion and left room for multiple theories. This is the central question of the entire incident. If Zahrie accidentally fell, it would likely be the result of slippery surfaces, unstable footing, or intoxication. However, no official statement has confirmed that any of these were definitively in play. The alternative theories, that she was pushed or that there was some kind of altercation, remain unproven. Without witnesses or video footage, determining intent is nearly impossible. Yet the similarities to Kenneka Jenkins' case, a sudden, unexplained death at a party involving multiple people, have caused many to believe this was more than an accident. According to Chicago police, a 911 call was placed shortly after Zahrie was noticed missing from the boat. The call reportedly came from someone aboard the yacht, but the identity of the caller has not been made public. Emergency responders arrived quickly, and Marine units conducted a search. Zahrie was eventually located and pulled from the water unresponsive. She was transported to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. No further details from a 911 call or the emergency report have been released. The lack of transparency has led some to question whether the timeline provided by partygoers is accurate or if key minutes were lost. The announcement of Zahrie Wall's death spread quickly across social media platforms. Her followers, clients, and local influencers expressed disbelief. With a strong presence on Instagram and TikTok, many of her fans had seen her final post just hours before she died. The shock was not only due to her age, but because of the circumstances. A young woman falling from a yacht on a clear summer day with no definitive explanation. Within 24 hours, tribute posts flooded Instagram. Hashtags like hashtag Justice for Z Money and hashtag Zahrie Walls began trending regionally. TikTok videos used old clips of her styling sessions and interviews, layered with captions like "This doesn't feel real." Influencers from Chicago and beyond posted tributes, while many beauty professionals shared stories about how Zahrie inspired them. What amplified the discussion was a striking connection. Zahrie's best friend, Kenneka Jenkins, had died under similarly mysterious circumstances in 2017. She was found dead inside a walk-in freezer at a Rosemont hotel after attending a party. That case, though ruled an accident, remains controversial. Zahrie had openly mourned her friend for years. She even got a tattoo in Kenneka's honor. Online commentators immediately linked the two tragedies. Both young women, both in party settings, both surrounded by others, yet dying in isolation. Both deaths left unanswered questions. The online narrative quickly divided into theories. Some users speculated a curse linked to Kenneka Jenkins' death that later caught up with Zahrie. This theory, though unproven and based in superstition, gained traction through repeated reposts and TikTok breakdowns of their friendship. Others firmly believed that Zahrie's death was not an accident. They pointed to a lack of footage, inconsistent witness statements, and a complete absence of a toxicology report as evidence of a cover-up. A third thread of suspicion focused on the attendees. Viewers began questioning why so few people from the yacht party came forward publicly. As days passed, some users even posted screenshots of Instagram profiles they claimed belonged to the yacht guests, demanding they speak up. At face value, Zahrie Wall's death is listed as a drowning, but the public sees more than just a fatal accident. There are too many missing pieces. No footage, vague witness accounts, and unclear emergency responses. The fact that this happened almost 7 years to the month after her best friend's mysterious death only deepens public concern. Until more details are released, such as full medical examiner reports, verified video, or first-hand accounts, the case will remain under scrutiny. And online, the public will continue to ask, was it a tragic misstep or something more deliberate that no one is willing to admit? According to initial reports released by the Chicago Police Department, the death was classified as an accidental drowning. Emergency services were alerted shortly after Walls fell into the water. She was retrieved by rescue teams and transported to Northwestern Memorial Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. The Chicago PD's Marine Unit confirmed their involvement in the response and recovery process. The department issued a brief statement indicating there was no immediate sign of foul play and confirmed that the case was being handled as a non-criminal drowning, pending autopsy and toxicology results. A post-mortem examination was conducted by the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office. The results identified drowning as the primary cause of death. There were no external signs of trauma or foul play, and preliminary toxicology screening revealed no lethal substances in her system, although further analysis was pending at the time of the statement. According to the coroner's summary, there were no defensive wounds, no blunt force injuries, and no lacerations that would suggest a struggle prior to entering the water. Multiple people were present on the boat at the time of the incident. Witnesses provided varying accounts. Some said she lost her balance while walking. Others stated she may have slipped due to wet surfaces and movement caused by strong waves. The boat was reportedly operating in compliance with regulations, and no criminal negligence had been identified by authorities at the time. As of the latest update, the police have not reopened the case and consider closed unless new evidence emerges. However, the lack of detailed footage, inconsistencies in witness timelines, and the minimal amount of public information released have led to continued questions online and in the media. Despite the official classification of the case as accidental, skepticism remained persistent, particularly due to the unsettling pattern this tragedy echoes. The death of Zahrie Walls is not viewed by many as an isolated incident. For those familiar with her background, the parallels to the 2017 case of Kenneka Jenkins are impossible to ignore. Kenneka Jenkins, 19 years old at the time, died under controversial circumstances in September 2017 after attending a party at a hotel in Rosemont, Illinois. She was found dead inside an unused walk-in freezer. Surveillance footage later showed her appearing disoriented, wandering to the hotel's empty kitchen areas. Officials ruled her death accidental, attributing it to hypothermia with contributing factors related to alcohol and medication. However, widespread skepticism followed. Critics pointed to the lack of continuous footage, conflicting statements from attendees, and slow emergency response times. Zahrie and Kenneka were known to be close friends. Zahrie was vocal about her grief following Kenneka's death, and she reportedly honored her memory through her work and public statements. The emotional and personal toll the loss had on Zahrie was evident to those who followed her career and life online. She even tattooed Kenneka's name on her body as a permanent tribute. Now, nearly 7 years later, another tragedy has struck, again involving a young black woman, again in the context of a social gathering with peers, and again ruled an accident by authorities. Both Zahrie and Kenneka were vibrant, ambitious, and highly social individuals with online followings and tight friend circles. Both died in the month of June, and both cases were shared and dissected far more widely on social media than in traditional news outlets. In both instances, the public was left to piece together events using clips, screenshots, and first-hand accounts from people present at the scenes, often in the absence of detailed or timely updates from police or media. In both tragedies, the pattern of public distrust emerged almost instantly. The timeline of events, gaps in witness statements, and lack of full video documentation led to widespread theories, online sleuthing, and comparisons. In Kenneka's case, hashtags and protests followed. In Zahrie's, fans, family members, and influencers expressed disbelief that another woman from the same circle could suffer the same fate with so many unanswered questions. Despite the official reports, the striking similarities between these two stories continue to fuel doubt. Were these truly accidents, or do they point to a deeper issue involving safety, negligence, or overlooked evidence in social environments where alcohol, poor supervision, and limited accountability intersect? Even the circumstances around emergency response have been questioned. In both cases, bystanders called for help, but it was already too late. No evidence of foul play has been presented by investigators in either case, yet many members of the public remain unconvinced due to the echoing nature of the events. Both women's stories were quickly absorbed into online conversations rather than legal or journalistic follow-ups. Platforms like TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram carry the stories far and wide, with thousands sharing personal opinions, speculative theories, and emotional tributes, many drawing a line connecting the two deaths as part of a larger trend of unsolved or suspicious deaths involving young black women in group social settings. While police departments may consider both cases closed, for many in the public, the connection between Zahrie Walls and Kenneka Jenkins is more than coincidence. It represents a pattern, a cycle of unanswered questions, rushed conclusions, and a lack of deeper inquiry into events that led to their deaths. Zahrie Walls' death on Lake Michigan has been formally declared an accidental drowning by Chicago authorities, with no immediate evidence of foul play. However, the incident bears disturbing similarities to the 2017 death of her best friend, Kenneka Jenkins. Both were young, successful women surrounded by peers in recreational settings. Both died under unclear circumstances. Both cases were ruled accidental despite widespread public doubt, and both now serve as case studies in how tragedy, when paired with uncertainty, often leads to more questions than answers. As of now, Zahrie's case is considered closed, but the pattern remains open. After her death, many professionals in the beauty industry, especially in Chicago and surrounding cities, posted tributes under the hashtags of Money Forever. These tributes featured videos of her work, collaborative events, and photos taken inside her studio. Prominent beauty bloggers and stylists, some with national platforms, acknowledged her as a trendsetter who had elevated the visibility of black-owned beauty businesses in Chicago. Some salons hosted one-day tribute events where proceeds were donated to youth entrepreneurship programs in Zahrie's name. Others used their platforms to call for mental health and safety support in fast-paced beauty industries where burnout, stress, and isolation are often ignored. Zahrie's mother, Kizzy Wells, became the public voice of the family following the incident. In interviews and statements released shortly after her daughter's death, Kizzy stated that she had a feeling something wasn't right the day of the party. She also emphasized Zahrie's long-standing grief over the loss of Kenneka Jenkins and how it had shaped her personal and professional life. Kizzy called for a thorough investigation into the events that led to her daughter falling overboard. She also expressed concern about the inconsistencies in the timeline provided by witnesses and the general lack of accountability when it comes to safety during public or private group outings. Close relatives also spoke out, some suggesting that there were people on the boat who weren't speaking up or sharing the full story. Others avoided media interaction but posted memorials on social media, referencing both Zahrie and Kenneka, highlighting their shared history and the public confusion that surrounded both deaths. The connection between Zahrie and Kenneka reignited national attention on the 2017 death of Kenneka Jenkins. Jenkins, who was 19 years old at the time, was found dead in a walk-in freezer at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Rosemont, Illinois. Surveillance footage, lack of complete audio recordings, and perceived lapses in investigation led many to believe that foul play may have been involved, despite the official ruling of accidental death. Zahrie had been one of Kenneka's closest friends and had publicly honored her memory for years. With Zahrie now also dead under unexplained circumstances, social media users began drawing parallels between the two cases. Multiple TikTok and YouTube creators began re-examining Kenneka's case in light of Zahrie's death, questioning whether the same cultural blind spots in investigation and media attention were still present years later. Some online theorists claim that both deaths followed a pattern of young black women dying under strange conditions during group events, with no legal accountability or further scrutiny applied. Although these claims remain speculative, they have significantly reignited public interest in both cases. Both Zahrie's death and Kenneka's case have triggered renewed calls for procedural reforms. Among the most commonly mentioned concerns are inconsistent timelines given by witnesses at social events, delays in emergency response during private or unofficial gatherings, lack of surveillance footage on private boats or hotel hallways, poor handling of toxicology reports and autopsies. Advocates began using these cases to argue for new laws that require stricter safety protocols for group events, including mandatory flotation devices, clear head counts on private vessels, and safety training for crew and hosts. Some are also pushing for legal requirements that digital content, like live streams or video footage, from public events be preserved for a minimum period when deaths occur under suspicious or unclear circumstances. The conversation has grown to include larger issues, such as how the deaths of black women are often treated in media and law enforcement narratives. Critics point to both Jenkins and Wall's cases as examples of early assumptions of accidental death with minimal forensic exploration or follow-up. The death of Zahrie Walls also raises important questions about the fate of her business, Z-Style Sweets, and how her legacy in the beauty world will be preserved. Z-Style Sweets was both a salon and a personal brand built by Zahrie from the ground up. Located in Chicago, it catered to a broad clientele and was frequently featured in social media campaigns. The business's Instagram account had thousands of followers, and Zahrie often shared behind-the-scenes content from the studio. As of the last available reports, the salon has not publicly announced whether it will remain open or be closed permanently. Staff and junior stylists affiliated with the salon have expressed a desire to keep the business running in her honor, but no formal leadership transition has been announced. There's been no confirmed successor or manager named to take over the salon. It remains unclear whether Zahrie had a legal will or business succession plan. Family members have not commented on the operational future of the salon, and no legal documents have been released to the public. In the absence of a clear leadership transition, there is speculation that the salon may either be temporarily closed or operated under a new name, depending on decisions made by her family and legal team. Even without an official announcement, fans and past clients have been using the business as a form of memorial. Many have booked final appointments with stylists who worked under Zahrie, posted old photos of their hair transformations, and tagged the salon in tributes. On TikTok and Instagram, users have launched the hashtag #ZStyleLegacy, encouraging customers to share stories of how Zahrie helped them feel more confident or gave them opportunities in the beauty industry. Some are also purchasing branded merchandise and gift cards from the salon in an effort to support the remaining staff. There have also been suggestions to turn Z Style Suites into a scholarship fund or training center for young stylists from underserved communities, though this idea is still in early stages and not formally launched. The deaths of Zahrie Walls in 2024 and Kenneka Jenkins in 2017 continue to stir unresolved questions across the public domain. Both young black women died under suspicious circumstances in the company of others during what were meant to be social gatherings. Their cases were quickly ruled as accidents, despite widespread public skepticism. Years later, a pattern is being questioned, not just in their cases, but in how such incidents are handled, particularly when they involve black female victims. This breakdown explores the public speculation and the lasting questions these two cases have raised, analyzing whether the events were connected by coincidence, caused by negligence, or something more deliberate. It also questions the systemic issues that continue to surface in party-related deaths and why certain cases are dismissed without deeper scrutiny. Zahrie Walls and Kenneka Jenkins were close friends. Kenneka's death occurred in September 2017 after she was found in a hotel freezer under unexplained circumstances during a party in Rosemont, Illinois. The investigation concluded that she had entered the freezer alone while intoxicated, and her death was ruled accidental. However, surveillance footage was incomplete, timelines were inconsistent, and the behavior of people involved raised concerns. Zahrie, deeply affected by Kenneka's death, went on to become a known hairstylist and entrepreneur. On June 22, 2024, Zahrie attended a boat outing with friends on Lake Michigan. At some point during the trip, she reportedly fell into the water. Emergency responders recovered her body, but she was later pronounced dead at the hospital. Her death was also quickly ruled a drowning accident. The connections between these cases raised red flags for many. Both were young black women. Both incidents occurred at group events surrounded by people they knew. Both were initially ruled accidents with little evidence of deeper inquiry. Both incidents lacked transparent accounts from witnesses. Both occurred in the Chicago area within a 7-year span. There is no direct evidence linking the two deaths in terms of criminal activity. However, the pattern of unexplained party deaths involving the same social circle cannot be ignored. Whether these events are purely tragic coincidences or indicative of a larger behavioral or criminal pattern remains unresolved. When deaths occur in private or semi-private settings, such as hotel parties or personal yachts, they are often framed as unfortunate accidents. However, these environments are also where accountability is most easily evaded. In Kenneka's case, surveillance footage was incomplete and no one present at the party provided clear answers about her disappearance. Key moments in the timeline were missing or obscured. It led to public demands for reopening the case. In Zahrie's case, although witnesses reported she fell overboard, no concrete footage of the fall has surfaced publicly. There has been little to no follow-up questioning about the state of the boat, whether safety protocols were in place, or who was in proximity to her during the incident. When these environments are not thoroughly investigated, several things occur. Possible negligence goes unpunished. Witnesses are not thoroughly interrogated. Toxicology, autopsy, and environmental reports are delayed or downplayed. Families are left without closure. Patterns are missed or ignored by law enforcement. Public records and investigative journalism show that mysterious deaths involving black women are disproportionately ruled accidental, compared to similar cases involving other demographics. There are several potential reasons for this. Implicit bias can affect how cases are prioritized, leading to faster conclusions in cases involving black women. This includes quicker declarations of no foul play without complete evidence. Coverage of cases involving black women often receives less national attention unless amplified through social media. Without public pressure, investigations may not gain traction. In party-based deaths, Details like drinking, drug use, or personal lifestyle are often used to justify or explain away suspicious circumstances, even when they should raise further investigation. Families from marginalized communities may not have access to legal assistance, private investigators, or public relations support to push for further investigation. In both Zahrie's and Kenneka's cases, public interest only surged due to viral content and grassroots pressure. Official law enforcement responses were quick to close files, citing accidental causes despite inconsistencies. This pattern feeds public distrust and reinforces a notion that Black women's lives are not equally protected or investigated under the system. In many closed-environment deaths, whether hotel rooms or yachts, only those present have direct knowledge of events. This creates a dependency on first-hand witness statements, which may be unreliable, altered, or deliberately withheld. In Zahrie's case, there's been no full list of passengers released publicly. No social media footage clearly shows a moment she went overboard. No one has publicly detailed what she was doing in the moments leading up to her fall. Weather reports confirmed that Lake Michigan was unusually choppy that day, but if boating was unsafe, why proceed? Some posts and stories from that day were deleted or removed soon after the incident. These details, or lack thereof, suggest that someone on that yacht may hold critical information. Whether it's simple negligence, e.g., no life vest, no supervision, or more serious involvement, e.g., arguments, push, or deliberate harm, nothing has been ruled out. But unless an official investigation is reopened, these questions will remain unanswered. The lack of transparency mirrors Kenneka Jenkins' case, where partygoers refused to speak openly and conflicting accounts dominated the narrative. Without cooperative witnesses or surveillance, the public is left to speculate, and speculation grows when authorities release little. The deaths of Zahrie Walls and Kenneka Jenkins continue to provoke public concern not because of conspiracy theories, but because of clear procedural gaps, repetitive patterns, and institutional failures to address unanswered questions. Are the deaths connected by coincidence, negligence, or something darker? That remains uncertain. But the conditions, limited investigation, unclear witness accounts, rushed conclusions, and public dismissal, are strikingly similar. These cases underscore a broader issue. Party-based deaths, especially those involving Black women, demand the same forensic rigor and investigative urgency as any suspected foul play. Until the system changes, families will continue to grieve in the dark, and public trust will continue to erode. Without full transparency, accountability, and continued inquiry, justice remains incomplete. If you found this story as gripping and heartbreaking as we did, don't forget to like this video and share it with others. And if you want to hear more true crime stories that uncover the mysteries behind these tragic events, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss our latest stories, updates, and discussions. Thank you for joining us on this journey to seek justice and explore the truth. Together, we can make a difference. Until next time, stay safe and stay aware.